Tao is the road up your spine. Tao is the road of your life. Tao is the road of the cosmos.
Mic Drop Radio.
Hello, all you beautiful people out there. Today, this beautiful Sunday, December 14th, 2025. Today is all about habits, what's working, what's not, and a few things that I've been thinking about this week to help you build consistency in your life. Unlike Calgary's weather, it's been bipolar as all heck, but that's okay because today we are going to keep it warm with Miles Recommends right here on Mic Drop Radio. Seriously, what a way to kick off the show, right? Fun fact about Miles Recommends. I played drums in that band when I was down there in Australia. It was one of the first things I did actually when I moved there. I actually had a band before I had a house, believe it or not. Those were my homies. Those are my friends. Deza, Lou, Ken, Justin. What up, guys? Trust you're doing well. Being that we're talking about habits today and how they lead us down the path, nice segue, I must confess that was certainly a path that I did not see coming in my life. And I think it's very interesting how, looking back, I look at all the things that I did in order to get there. And of course, hindsight is 2020. And it makes a lot of sense why I ended up in Australia. Everything that I was practicing, I was playing a lot of drums. I was looking for bands. I knew that every place that I had lived, one of the first things I did was try to find what the music scene was like, right? And these are all just habits that I accumulated from moving around a little bit. I had previously lived in Kelowna, and that was one of the first things I did. And then Toronto, I moved for a band. Hamilton, I found a band, founded a band. So it was a habit of mine to dig into the community, and especially the music community in each local scene. That habit led me to that band. How cool, right? And I don't know, maybe you're there at that fork in the road and having to make a decision. I'm sure if you're anything like me in the past, you're thinking long and hard about that decision. And interestingly enough, I was listening to a podcast earlier today, The Diary of a CEO, for those of you. I'll make sure there's a link to the resource. James Clear was on the show. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with that name, he's the author of Atomic Habits and quite the expert in discipline. And I love a lot of the fundamental principles that he talks about in that book and in other parts of his reading. It's really fundamental stuff and very basic. That's the cool thing, is that it's not some grand armchair theory. It's like literally shit that you can do that's very practical and very practice first. And one of the things that he said that really stuck with me in this particular episode was the biggest cost is the time that it takes for you to make a decision. I'll say that one again. The biggest cost is the time that it takes you to make a decision. And the way that he explains it is also really cool. He explains it like hats, haircuts, and tattoos. And most of the decisions that we make are hats and haircuts. For hats, we can go to the store, we can try one on. If we don't like it, you see it in the mirror, you put it back, try on another one, right? Haircuts, there's a little bit more of a consequence. You know, you get a bad haircut and you got to let your hair grow out. Guys, it's hair. It grows back, right? Thank God I've never had a bad haircut. Shout out Ashley, right? But the interesting thing is when it comes to tattoos, it's a little more permanent, right? It requires a bit more thinking, you know, being sure, really weighing out the pros and cons of that decision. But the thing is, many of us treat all of our decisions, and especially with this time of year, like when it comes into habits and lifestyle, we treat these decisions as if they're tattoos. Well, most of them are actually hats and or haircuts. Now, I want to share with you the 3 things that I learned today so far. I'm not through the entire episode, but I will finish that on my way to the gym later today. And those 3 things are, number 1, how to create the conditions for success. Number 2, how to change the scope and stick to the schedule. And number 3, and most importantly, I think, is make it easy. Okay. Let's talk about creating conditions. There's an old saying that I heard. I forget who told me this, but it said, if you're a crack addict, stay out of the alleys. That's where your vice is going to be. And now the same thing applies for all habits, especially lifestyle habits like fitness and nutrition and that. One that I've been really successful with is dialing into deeper sleep to support my performance and my recovery in this past month or so, which I'm really proud of. And I want to share with you from my experience what's coming up in my world. Because it didn't just happen. It's been awesome. And it took some work. It took some discipline. I actually had to do some things, okay, make some changes. And you will too if you want to make changes in your life. The first thing I did was have a non-negotiable. I worked backwards. If I've got to be up at X time, usually 7, I just decided, okay, I got to be up by 7:30 at the latest every day. I have to work backwards from that. So I have a non-negotiable 9:30 off screens and into transition mode, okay, right into sleep and that wind down process, because my mind is fairly active and I'm usually up late doing creative things, which keeps my mind even more active, right? So the alarm goes off on my phone, cues me up for my herbal tea, my hot bath, my candles, journaling, the whole ritual, right? I've got some reading, I do some stretches, and I do some breath work, and then it's lights out. It all starts with the alarm. I set that up. I tell all my friends. I even have autoresponders on my client portal that sets the expectation for all my clients so that they know when to expect responses. If they're sending me messages at ungodly hours, I'm not going to get back to it until business hours, right? Everyone knows that is me time, and especially on Sundays, right? Guess what? It works. My sleep now for the last 2-3 weeks has steadily been increasing. I'm becoming more consistent, and the recovery is solid the whole last week, which was the best. It just helps me do more of the stuff that I love at a much higher level. Now, as far as changing scope goes, for me, sometimes my days last week got away from me. Like, I get it. Everything happens, and sometimes there's just some uncontrollables out there, right? I really wanted to be in the bath, for a good half hour, but I took longer on the tea. The sage wouldn't light up, yada, yada, yada. All these little things that added up to not having the same kind of amount of time to be in bed at a certain time. All I did was just scale it back. So instead of the 30 minutes in the tub, I had 10 minutes soak, right? I read 3 pages instead of a whole chapter. I stuck to the plan, and then just because I scaled it back, I still felt that sense of accomplishment. And sometimes you just got to do that. It's okay to revise. That's the cool thing about being human. One of the coolest things, I think, is the ability to change your mind, right? So many people I run into think it's like black or white. If I can't get to the gym for the full hour and afternoon or whatever, I can't go at all. And it's just not like that. It's not realistic. It's insane how little amount of friction it takes to just throw us right off track. And once we do it once, we give ourselves permission to do it again and again and again. And now we've created a different, oftentimes more detrimental habit. Lastly, the third point, making it easy. James Clear, he talks about his 2-minute rule when introducing a new habit. And what he means by that is no matter what the habit is, just implement something that you do exclusively for 2 minutes. So if it's going to the gym, it's putting the shoes, packing the bag, getting the clothes all together. Take 2 minutes to develop that habit. It's kind of like hacking the brain. If you're going to do yoga, instead of doing yoga for 5 days a week, just put the mat by the door or put the mat out. And that will help you build that habit in because it's 2 minutes. Everybody can do something for 2 minutes, right? So for me, what I did is part of my new journal entries, because I found that I was having a hard time turning off my brain. So I give myself just 3 journal prompts that were really exclusive to me. I've done journaling like that in the past, both AM and PM. And I found that oftentimes it was just too big. So I thought, okay, well, what if I just took the 2-minute rule and started introducing just 3 prompts, just something nice and quick to get the stuff off the proverbial desk and out of my mind, right? So you're welcome to snag this for yourself or modify it to how you see fit with regards to your habits, okay? So the 3 prompts that I gave myself was, number 1, what did I accomplish today? And that gave me a sense of like, bum, ba, da, da, I did it. Number 2, what creative loop am I going to set aside and pick up first tomorrow? I couldn't tell you, prior to me doing this journal, I would think, okay, well, I've just got to do this, and maybe I've got 5 minutes over here, and if I just start this, it'll be done. And I would just do that, and then before you know it, it's like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning because I did all these little tasks that I could have done again in the morning when I was more fresh. Number 3, what's the one sensation or feeling that's coming up right now? And that just gave me a sense of closure where I could just tap into noticing and naming the feelings that I was going through. And that was really helpful. I wasn't looking to solve the world's problems after that. I wasn't looking to do any story work. For those of you who know my practice, I was just going, okay, notice it, tired. Good, perfect. Notice it, anxious. Good. Okay, notice it, accomplished. All right. Notice it, fulfilled, passionate, whatever it is, right? Put that feeling down or that sensation down, and then just put the pen down. What I did, put the pen down, closed the journal off, jumped into easy breathing and some of my wind down music. Actually, now that I think about it, another thing that was one of those associate things is that I have one of those lamps that is like a dimmer lamp. It's not really sound. It's not one of those annoying alarms. It's a lamp that like just dims down. And I would set that at 20 minutes. So as soon as I started my journal process, by the time that it was lights out, it was 20 minutes later, right? And like that light would go off and I was out cold long before that. So journaling was probably a good 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And then I'd, put the eye mask on, do my easy breathing, and I was lights out. It was awesome. Yeah. To put this into practice, I'm just going to invite you to take 2 minutes right now to just sit and listen to the song that I'm going to cue up. I want you to consider the following prompt in relation to whatever habit that you've got set up or whatever you're looking to integrate into your life. Because oftentimes I hear, but I can't meditate. It's not that hard. Pick something, especially for those of us who have the active mind. Pick something that you hear in the song and just follow that. Maybe it's the piano, maybe it's an undertone, maybe it's a bass line, whatever it is. Listen to that one thing and just follow it all the way through. The song will do the work. It'll do all the heavy lifting, okay? When the song is over, write down in one word how you feel or whatever sensation is coming up. Cool? Cool. Here we go. We'll see you on the other side.
Mic Drop Radio.
All right, folks, on today's Coach's Corner, we've got Jeremy Grünsteiner, weightlifting coach and founder of Weird and Strong, based out of Fargo, North Dakota. Jared and I go way back to the Enlifted Mindset days, and we caught up last week on a break at work after what seemed like forever ago. It had been so long. Of course, it was as cold as balls out here in Calgary, and Jeremy's video was being uncooperative, and we still managed to have some wicked aha moments for y'all. I wanted to share them with you today. It's all about setting up the right vision and how to make it stick. Here is a nugget from our chat.
it's funny that you bring that up because I was out in the middle of rural Virginia like 3 hours ago, writing about this exact same thing for myself from this perspective of where my coaching is at currently with all the other commitments I have, and how do I grow that into being my primary income source, being the primary thing that I do with my life. It's very easy, and like I understand this just as well as everybody else, is that when you're in the hole, that scarcity mindset is incredibly hard to break, and you are very much in the spot of just how do I get any extra dollar I can in this moment. And it's, in hindsight, having been there the last couple of years and coming out of that, it's the coming back to taking the deep breaths, coming back to, even when it's the hardest thing to do in the moment, is come up for air and look at where I'm not where I want to be right now. Where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? Because the moves you make in that short-term reactionary space where things are all upregulated and things feel desperate, you make very, very different decisions, and likely not the decisions you would make that would get you to where you want to be in 5-10 years. And it's like, well, I need to have a real strong vision of what that looks like. Because $10,000, 105 kilograms, like all of these are arbitrary numbers for ourselves. And so why that number? Okay, start to look at that. Why is this important to me? Because, as Nietzsche said, is strong enough, with a strong enough why, a man can endure it anyhow.
Mic Drop Radio.
All right, that's it. That's all for today. And in honor of Full Circle, let's start let's Tarantino this. All right, we're gonna where we started. Okay, that intro, that little opening monologue to catch you. That's called Spine. That is today's Daily Dow. I'm going to finish it off here for you to send us off in style. Before I get to that, if you are a coach and you're looking for a cool community, stay tuned. We've got some really cool things happening in the new year where you can join the likes of Jeremy, myself, and a bunch of my other colleagues, mentors, and dear friends. All my friends are super creative and super educated, and that's a community I like to be in. So we're curating a style of community unlike anything else, with creativity at the forefront and education to help you be better at helping other people and make an impact. All right, without further ado, I'm going to finish this little passage. Here we go. People are often confused about Tao because there are references to it on so many different levels. After all, it permeates all existence. Indeed, it might be said that Tao is existence itself. It might seem odd that we can talk about Tao on a level so mundane as physical exercise and on a level as exalted as holiness itself. Those who follow Tao do not think of divinity as something up there. They think of it as everywhere. Tao can be tangible when it wants and intangible when it wants to. One tangible aspect of Tao is the road in the very center of our spines. That is the path of Tao in us. It is the spirit road connecting the various power centers of our body. On a philosophical level, Tao is the road through life. It is the change from one stage to another, the dealing with circumstances, the expression of your inner character against the background of nature and society. On a metaphysical level, it is the evolution and movement of the cosmos itself. Now, take these three levels: the movement of energy up the spine, the philosophical understanding of one's own path in life, and the very progression of the universe, and meld them all into one combined concept. Then you will have a glimpse of the genius of Tao.
Roar!